Hi there, this is Nicole Forrester, real estate broker, here today to answer a really commonly asked question. Is my deposit in real estate refundable? This is a great question, and it's really circumstance depending, of course. But I'm going to give you a couple of common scenarios so that you understand about the deposit. So let's talk about deposit versus down payment. These are two concepts that people often mix up. Your down payment, let's look at that as your total skin in the game when you're purchasing a home. It means how much are you total bringing to the table out of your own resources, your own cash investment resources to the purchase of the property. That is your down payment. In Canada, that down payment is 20% of the purchase price if you want to have what's called a low ratio mortgage for the rest of your funding and not a high ratio mortgage. We'll get into that in a different video. So 20% down. Of that 20% of your down payment, 5% of that in Ontario is going to be your standard deposit. Okay, so what does that mean? When does the deposit come into play? When you go to purchase a home, you like it, you love it, you want to put in an offer, you do a little back and forth, you come to an agreement through your realtors on a purchase price. You do that on a Wednesday. Well, on Thursday before end of day, your 5% deposit is due in a bank draft to be handed over to the other side and held in the listing brokerage's trust account until the close of the property. The close of the property is actually when title changes hands, the deposit comes in, the down payment comes in, the mortgage comes in, and the lawyers do this tally and transfer the title to the new owners. Okay, so if you have a conditional sale, and those conditions generally are finance for 5 days. Basically, your lender's going to vet out your property and vet out your credit to make sure that they're going to loan you the money for that specific property. Another normal condition would be inspection. If you're lucky enough and you haven't purchased in a bidding war and you get to inspect the property, have someone look at it, give you a report, and then you can say yay or nay on the property. Sometimes if you have a condominium townhome or an apartment, a status certificate, which really talks about how they pool the joint money and what they plan to do with the condo that your lawyer reviews. These are three common conditions in a purchase. So if you're in a conditional period, let's say for 5 days after you've come to an agreement and put in your deposit, and you do not fulfill those conditions, so let's say you didn't get the financing. We thought we would. We thought the pre-approval would be enough, but no, they're not going to finance us. We can't purchase this. Well, guess what? Then you can go through the motions of saying, okay, no, we're not going to be able to purchase this property. All parties sign what is called a mutual release. And then once the funds are cleared at the listing brokerage, you don't get it back lickety split. It's got to clear. And then the listing brokerage is going to reissue you your funds back. So in that circumstance, your deposit is refundable when you are in a conditional sale and you do not fulfill those conditions. Okay. So what if you're in this super hot market and you purchase a property firm, meaning no conditions, and you have a deposit down, and it's a big deposit because likely it's one of the areas that you were competing against 30 other people to purchase that property. So in those circumstances, sometimes your deposit is 10% of the purchase price. Is that deposit refundable? No, it is not. When you are in a firm sale and there is a deposit that is being held at the listing brokerage, you are contractually obliged to close on that property. And if you do not close on that property, what comes into question is your deposit. And when I say comes into question, that's the money that's on the table currently that's being held that you can be sued for. You don't automatically lose that deposit if you don't close on the day that you're supposed to. But the seller then has the right to go and sue you for that deposit for breach of contract of not closing when you said you would. And that becomes a very serious legal situation. that I would definitely say you'd need to consult your lawyer, and your lawyer would be consulting you. So if you're in a firm sale, you do not have a refundable deposit, and that money definitely could be tied up as you were sued, and you were sued for that money. And possibly if you're in a declining market and the seller cannot get the same amount for the purchase that they did with you, they can sue you for the difference, and also for legal costs. So that's a very serious situation. So once again, is your deposit refundable? Certainly in a conditional sales period, but not in a firm sales period.